All right, as promised, I said I was moving into the other room, and we're doing a special episode of Destination Decluttered, just Destination Decluttered Live, just sentimental items. And it's kind of crazy. Look at me, I'm trying to doll myself up here. Oh, you can see more of my t-shirt the way I have it set up. Let me try this. There we go. A little bit better. You can see sentimental items behind me. You've got them too. I can see over there. Those are all sorts of family photos. This is artwork and stuff from where we've been and all sorts of things. We're talking about today is going to be specifically this one. I know it probably says on the top of it because it's kind of stuck there. Do I need a light? Nah. It probably says if you are decluttered, I can help you. Little Pee-wee, little PW. Here, you can hang out with me. Is sentimental clutter. Like usually I do a TikTok live and it's just about oh, thank you. Oh, look, here, say hi. My husband just got me a cup of tea.
Hey, Pee-wee.
Here, you know what? Well, you know what? I'll leave him here. Anyhow, yes, sentimental clutter. Sentimental clutter. It is the stuff that is the hardest to deal with, but it's not impossible. And I'm actually pitching an heirloom chair because I hated the story with it. Yes, so a couple of things. I love that you mentioned this. This next half hour is going to be just about sentimental clutter. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but it's all going to be good stuff because it comes from the heart and experience and being a person who not only helps people declutter, but my house is decluttered. I love my house. I love how it looks, feels, and functions. And I want to help you with that too, okay? And sentimental clutter. In the road trip, in the levels of clutter, sentimental is the last one I always deal with because it benefits you greatly to get your decluttering muscles built up before you deal with the sentimental clutter. So you will usually start with surface clutter, stored clutter, and sentimental clutter. Okay, thank you for the cool shirt. I gotta remember who I got this from because I love this design. I put it on as a happy face because it was reminding me of our poor past Pee-wee. He got me, I think, through a lot of rough stuff. Okay, and what I want to offer with sentimental clutter. Notice this. Sentimental clutter, and I say clutter strategically, is the stuff in your home that tells you stories. It tells you stories. It makes you feel feelings, stories in your head, feelings in your heart. And this can be tough because oftentimes our sentimental clutter is stuff from the past. It reminds us of things we did, people we knew, people who are not here anymore. You know, like this guy. And what I want to offer with it is, first of all, I really loved him too. I can't even get into talking about Pee-wee before I will get emotional because this is what happens is you'll see something and it reminds you of somebody who's no longer there and how much they meant to you. Okay. So what I want to offer with sentimental clutter is it's going to make you feel feelings. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. Feelings are kind of like one of those bursts of a rainstorm. Like it'll be there for a while and then it stops and then you're on the other side of it. Okay. Many things I want to get rid of that my mother-in-law gave us, but she gets so upset when it's not around. Okay, I love this because notice how she gave it to you. Ever notice, you know that phrase of there's a gift with strings attached? She's got a string to that. She's saying, I gave this to you, but I want to see you use it, you know? Here's what give it back. Yeah, the neat thing is you can create boundaries in your life to get you the life that you want. Now, for example, this, like decluttering in general is saying, oops, sorry, PW. Here's an item in my home. Do I want it or not? Does it make my home look better? Does it make me feel good in my home? Does it make my home function better or not? Answer those questions and Then decide, if I want to keep it, where does it go? And if I don't want to keep it, how can I easily get rid of it? Right? You are in control of your home. If when I was living at my parents' house when I was little, I couldn't have painted their walls lime green and orange. I couldn't have hung up a bunch of random stuff that I got thrifted. No, that wasn't my home. This is your home. It is not your mother-in-law's home, okay? And what I want to offer, yeah, actually, it's funny. Hannah Nicole is saying obsessed with the bright colors in your home. Yeah, I couldn't have the home I wanted because it wasn't mine. But when I got mine, boy, did I start to decorate it like Pee-wee's Playhouse and the Monkeys' beach house, like nobody's business, okay? This is your home. You get to decide what's in it and what's not and feel good about it. Drop that bomb, right? So you can start right now with your mother-in-law in changing these relationships and saying, hey, thank you so much for that thing. I will see if it works for us. And if it doesn't, I may pass it along to somebody else who doesn't. Thank you so much for thinking of me. This is where a lot of gifts happen. The gift is I saw this thing and it made me think of you. And ideally, it's like the true amount of a gift is, I saw this thing, it made me think of you, and I thought it made make your life better, good. And so I give this to you. But after that, there should be no strings attached. It was a thought, and the gift ends there. If it does work out, great, wonderful. If it doesn't, you should be able to release it, and you should release it. And I know it can be difficult, but just remember, this is your life. You only have one life. This is not your mother-in-law's house. This is your house, okay? What else? Okay. Pretty things friends have given me. Here's the deal. Here's the deal with sentimental clutter. There's a difference between sentimental stuff and sentimental clutter. Sentimental clutter is the stuff that you've maybe saved a lot of things because or you inherited a lot of stuff from a family member who is no longer there. And you don't want to be that person either. And tons of old photographs. Okay, inherited stuff from past family. You get to decide, because decluttering is a decision-making process. And the way I teach it, the way I coach about it, is you get to decide about you and what you want in your life or not. The things that you've inherited may have been important to those people. It doesn't have to be important to you. I don't want to guilt my next generation into ever thinking they need to keep one iota of the things that were important to me. So I'm telling you right now, Kaylee, Madeline, and Jack, you don't need to keep any of this stuff, with the exception of, there will probably be things like photographs, okay? Photographs that I am the curator of, because I am like the family history person, that tell a story of our family. It's bigger than me when it's family photos. But I will say this, with family photos, notice how somebody just said a ton of photos. Holy madoli, do we have tons of photos now? More so than even 100 years ago. Just because you have tons of these snapshots doesn't mean you need to keep them all. What I would suggest is going through the ones that mean something to you and then keeping them, but then also create a family archive. What are the handfuls of photos that you would like to represent your family to generations 100 years from now, right? And realize that it can become a burden when we have, right now, the way we live in society, we have access to so many things. We have the ability to take so many pictures, but it doesn't mean we need to keep them all, okay? But I would say, keep the ones that bring you joy. Keep the pictures that bring you joy. Keep the pictures that tell you good stories. Keep the pictures that you look good in. Keep the pictures that reflect something, a story you want to share with the world, with future generations. And with the pictures you keep, please, oh please, write on the back of them the year it was, the people in there. Share the story, because if you don't do that, the story is what's important about the picture. If somebody looks at that picture and they don't know who it is, they're going to throw it away, right? Share those things with other generations, but also please note that we are in this kind of overarching time of from paper to digital. and we're in a combo of that. So you can take pictures of your historical photos and text them to your nieces and nephews. You can do a video where you, like I could do a video, like right here behind me. See how I've got those family photos? I could sit there and do a photo and be like, you know, like that's Uncle Jim. Let's, you know, great Aunt Aga and Uncle Jim. Oh, see those old timey people there? That's Uncle Cliff's parent, you know, family. Oh, that woman, we're not even related to her. That's Jeannie Canerney's mom and dad, but that's their picture that we used as the cover for our wedding thing, you know? They don't need to know any of that stuff, you know? Okay. Abide always. I'm so sorry your husband passed. That is tough. My husband's in the other room. He may pass before me. I may pass before him. But we both know that he lives on in my heart. Your husband lives on in your heart. He doesn't live in the stuff. The stuff reminds you of him. And sure, like if my husband passed, I'm going to save some sentimental items that remind me of him and us. But he also has a lot of stuff that I will probably sell. He's got a ton of guitars and musical equipment that they were of his, but they don't do it for me. So I will sell them. It doesn't mean I didn't love him. There's clothing of his. Sorry, hon, I'm talking about like you did. I apologize. That I will probably donate somewhere. Doesn't mean I didn't love him. Doesn't mean I don't love him. Okay? But give yourself time to heal. Do it when the time is right. Okay? But then get clear on these things. Okay? It's going to make you feel feelings. It's going to make you feel feelings. That's part of it, you know? But you also do these things. There you go. Latter-day Saints Church has family history centers that will help you digitize everything for free. See, you can do that. But I will say, one of the things I love is the fact that we save items. Now, this is a funny thing. This is the thing that got me motivated to even do this decluttering sentimental things. I fear if I get rid of sentimental things that I won't remember the past. Oh my God, you hit the nail on the head. So like I do in my regular decluttering, you have a thought that makes you feel fear, that makes you hold on to stuff. But just notice, there's an other hand. I am afraid if I get rid of this stuff, I'm not going to remember it. So you know what you do? You remove the story from the thing. Save the story. Take a picture of the item and write a caption of it. Do a video of the item and tell the story. Share the story. Get the story out of the thing, out of your head, and put it where you can share it, when you can save it yourself. You know? Don't erase things. Don't forget things. Yeah, my memory is not so great. I agree. I don't save a lot here. I do need visual reminders of stuff. And sometimes I may need it to be written down because, for example, like I have some stuff in here. So I went through this thing yesterday a little bit when I did my little Pee Wee Herman. It's like, so I have this, and I talked about not needing to get rid of your sentimental clutter if it's stuff that you want. So I have this diner box that I've had, as I mentioned, since like 1985. And in it, I knew exactly where Mr. PW is. Now, he's going in my office now. But I also realized I had some things here that really this stuff is important to me. It doesn't have to be important to anybody else, but I'm not about to get rid of it just because it's going to make somebody else's life easier. What I will do, though, here's a big difference, is create a plan. I have a lot of sentimental items in my home. I know this about me. I have containers of things. I have 45 record holders and, train cases and funky things that I've stored things in. But I've gone through those things and I have decided what I am saving. But then I go through them and I say, okay, this reminds me of, and I keep them. But I say to my nieces and nephews, feel free to shove it all in a dumpster when I'm gone. If they want to go through it and see the evidence of what a cool life I lived, rock on. I love it. But I do it to remind myself of a cool life I lived, you know? This is when I saw Fountains of Wayne. This is when, summer 2003, we got backstage passes when we saw Beck. Not that I use them, but I bought this, what do you call it? See, I don't even know, like a rosary when we went and saw the Pope with my niece. Oh, here's a ticket stub. Oh, Ike, Parallel Universe, 2003. What else do I have in here? Here's a picture of myself and my sister from my wedding, and then our goofy friend Neil Shreve in the background giving my sister the little things, I save these things because they remind me of good times. But I don't want to burden anybody else with them. So yeah, there may be a time in my life where I actually feel like I do have a plan to kind of have a bonfire at some point when I'm like 97, and I want to go through these things and share the photos, and I want to remind myself of it, but I'm not there yet. But also, these things will not have as much meaning to people who are cleaning up my house when I'm dead. So I want to let them know to not feel any guilt, to say to somebody, feel free to open up the house and tell people to come and just take stuff for free, and that's what it's all about. So there's this notion, this book called The Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Somebody asked me about it, and since we're talking about sentimental items specifically, I will say this, we never know when we're going to die. I say start with your surface clutter and your stored clutter, your boring stuff first. Get your home in a place that looks and feels like you want, but then save the things that really mean something to you, and save them in a way that doesn't add to the clutter, that add to the chaos of your home. You know where these things are, and then when you open them up, you open up the little thing, you delight in what you find, here's a cute thing. Here's see, this is a guitar pick. This is guitar picks that we had as wedding favors, right? Here's a thing that I got when my friend Suzanne and I went to Alan Cummings Club in New York City. I think this was like a drink ticket thing, and I put it in my pocket. I have all sorts of things. I've got this is so funny. It's Lansdowne Street. Anybody used to go clubbing in Boston? I got a book of matches. These things remind me of good times, and I like to be reminded of good times. I don't have things that remind me of crappy times, but what I want to say, the thing about keeping your sentimental clutter, but also getting rid of the stuff that you don't need, but also making a plan. The plan is up here. You can have a plan in place that says, get rid of all this shit when I'm dead, but I want to enjoy it right now. Now, it may change. You talked to me in 2 years, I might have gotten rid of some of this stuff. Probably not, but maybe. I might have whittled some of it down. I might have gone through. I have boxes in the basement, but they're organized. I got this tip from Andy Warhol. Not like we talked, but I was in the Andy Warhol museum, and it was I have a little box that I start every year with little things that I collect over that year, not consciously. I don't go out and, but it's if I want to be reminded of good times, I put them in a box. And this is literally a habit I've had for 20 years. It works for me. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It is organized. I know where to go to find those things if I want to. And if for some reason the house burned up and they were gone, oh well, I know I lived the good life. What this reminds me of every day is that I have a good life, that I've had a good life. I have things that remind me of people that are no longer with me, And I want to say, okay, so notice this. Erica is saying, I am the worst about sentimental clutter. My garage is chock full of sentimental junk. So get rid of the junk and only keep the good stuff. Curate your stuff so that it fits into a smaller thing, so that everything you see tells you a good story. Oftentimes, we avoid going through our sentimental items because we are afraid of the feelings we are going to feel. But the reason we keep the sentimental items is because of the feelings that they make us feel, Oh, and yeah, the best mom, losing the husband, 38 years, holy frajolies, that sucks. It sucks. I don't want you to forget him, but also he wants you to be happy and not be weighed down with all the stuff that he has. Keep the stories in your heart. Share the stories with people. Write them down, do a video, create a spreadsheet, whatever, create a podcast on how awesome your husband was. Do it. You know what I mean? But notice, somebody says, and I'm scooping along. Let me zoom back here. You don't declutter when grieving your loss of your spouse. Do not declutter and grieve at the same time. Allow yourself time to heal. Okay? Yeah. Well, it's that's my husband's favorite thing to say. I'll let son's name, throw it out before I die. Know that that's the plan. Share it with your son and make a plan to be okay, here's the dumpster place we're going to call. Here's the place we want to do. You know what I mean? We do it for other people. I'm going to clean out my mother's house. I've done it for other people. Somebody else is going to do it for me. Somebody else is going to do it for them. I have far fewer things than my mom has, and I probably will when I die, because I will continue to work on this stuff. This doesn't give you a get out of jail free card for not going through your own stuff and curating it so you only have the good stuff. You want to enjoy your home while it is. You don't want to live in a room full of, like a house of clutter, or maybe you do, but make a plan. Share that with your son and say, is there something we could do now? Can I get rid of some of the stuff now? And the answer is no, I want to stay in my house with my stuff. Honor that, right? See, my mom was a hoarder, and we have spent a year and only a third of the way through. You know why? And that sucks, but notice the difference between hoarding and not going through the stuff. And then you're afraid. This was my fear when I helped my mother. The stuff wasn't organized. I found, and my mother's still alive, and she would know this because I went through it with her, is like there was stuff that was like current newspapers and the bills, and then like a family heirloom photo, and then a picture, and then a receipt. Like there was wheat and chaff because she hadn't gone through it. If you go through and you curate your stuff and you declutter the stuff that doesn't matter, you're only left with the good stuff for you, but it doesn't have to be the good stuff for somebody else, So, okay, I'm very sentimental, especially with my kids' baby clothes. I ended up taking pictures and getting rid of them. Yeah, I had a decluttering coach. I do one-on-one decluttering life coaching with people. And same thing with her. Taking the pictures helped you remember how small and squidgy they were, right? There we are too. There we go. Doing it with your mom, getting your kids involved right now. I don't care how old your kids are. If you are saving something for them, get them involved in the process now and ask them if they even want it. You going through the stuff with them now is going to create the memory of how good it can feel to share the stories of these things. This is the thing I saved for you because I remember when your foot was this small and you fit into this. You don't have to keep it if you want, but I just want to let you know how much I love you now and I loved you when you were little, right? There we go. Yeah, Sassy Mushroom has started taking pictures on, putting on Instagram as a private account for me to go back to. Yeah, find the way that works for you to keep the memories, but not necessarily have to keep all the stuff. I had another client that was really the clicker for her. She lived in the house that she grew up in. Her parents had passed, and it was like an archaeological dig of all sorts of things that her parents had saved. And when she realized she could take a picture of these things and share the photo or keep the memory or write it down, that was a game changer. So find a process that works for you. But what I want to say is do not avoid going through your sentimental clutter unless you're grieving. Find a way to start going through your own stuff. And this is why when I do my coaching, don't start with your sentimental clutter. If your house is a hot mess of clutter, don't start with your sentimental stuff. This is the deep dive. This is the stuff that tells you the stories. Start with your surface clutter. Then go to your stored stuff, your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom stuff, and then deal with your sentimental clutter. But know that doing the sentimental clutter can be something you enjoy. I'm guilted into keeping items by my kids. What are they telling you to guilt them? You can choose. Guilt is like somebody throwing a piece of dog poop at you. You can choose to grab it and hold on to it, or you can not grab it and drop it. Guilt is on them. It's not up to you. If you do not want it, you do not need to keep it. I will say, if you have family heirlooms, if you have things in your home where you think other people might want them, please offer them to them first, but do not guilt them into taking them if they say no. There we go. Danny's mess. Twice a year, I get the kids involved with their stuff. I am shocked at how much they don't want or need. That is a beautiful thing. You guys, we are of a generation that is between the older generation that didn't deal with their stuff at all and the younger generation that sees the evidence of the struggle we are going through with their stuff and our stuff. They don't want any part of that stuff, Jay. No. So honor the fact. Trust that they don't want that stuff, and it's okay. It's okay. Learn that about yourself. Why am I holding on to this? Do I want it? Does it tell me a good story? Would I forget this story if I didn't have the thing? Can I take a picture? Can I use modern technology? Because think about it, kids nowadays have only grown up with the internet. They don't know that the reason I have books here is because there used to be a time when the only way you could get information was to have them in books. Now, I rarely refer to these books, I will say, but they are organized, they are curated, and if I move to someplace else, I might not bring all these books. But right now they work for me in my home, and I'm also communicating to my nieces and nephews and family, and I'll use this as it. Hey, family, if we die, with very few exceptions, and I will be very clear about those things that I want you to keep, that are like literally could fit probably into a small tub to pass on to future generations of the family. Other than that, anything that meant something to me does not need to make a damn bit of difference to you. You've got stuff that means something to you. Okay. How do I get the paperwork on digital? I will say paperwork. Somebody mentioned you can get a scanner, you can send things away. Be curious about what the paperwork is, you know? Okay, I'm listening as I declutter. That's why I do these things. We're 4 kids. Anything good mom had was glued. She still loved it after she passed away. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's okay. Don't feel bad about it. Yeah, I know it'll be such a blessing when it's done and it's part of the process, but it's exhausting. Yes, the thing is, I will share with you. This is why when I do my TikTok lives or my Destination Decluttered one-on-one coaching, I rarely get into the sentimental clutter a lot, because so much can make you feel better just by dealing with the surface and the stored. Oh, Bobby, thank you for saying I'm such a great coach. I really try to help people with this. Yeah, it can be exhausting, but it can be worth it. It can be worth it to realize you can go through scary things or things you were afraid of or that make you feel feelings and come out the other side. You know, how do you prevent mental exhaustion? Good question, Coley. Little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. Do this stuff a little bit at a time. Set your timer for 20 minutes. You know, say I'm going to take 20 minutes. It probably wouldn't even take me that long to go through this. Now, this stuff is curated, but like I could go through this. Oh, there's a love note from my husband. There's this. I know what's in this. I have a person I'm going to share this with when the time is right. You know, what else do I have? Do I want to keep all this stuff? Like, this is funny, actually, in a way. Like, I just, you know, here's a Ballymead Country Club golf tee. This totally reminds me of my dad. Did I ever golf? No. Do I love my dad? Yes. Could I get rid of this and not love, like, and say that I didn't love, like, and say that I still love my dad? Yes. So I can even go through this stuff. Oh, look, I went to the medieval manor in Boston, fall of '97. Yeah, I did. Do I remember anything about it? Would I have been heartbroken if I didn't find this and forgot that? Probably not. I could get rid of it, but also I kind of like remembering it. I went, I think, with people from Pier 1. We had some food. I don't know, but it's fun to play with your stuff. The reason you keep things is because you can enjoy playing with your toys, you know? So enjoy this, all right? What else do we have here before I sign off? Because I got to get into coaching and stuff, but this just felt really important because I know it can be a struggle if you're the person dealing with somebody else's stuff to be overwhelmed by the amount that they shared. But remember, you too have your own stuff to get together. So what can you do now to declutter your own home in a way that makes your life feel better, that you can also organize it so the people who are going to clean up after you after you're gone, it will be not as much of a burden on them, okay? There we go. When I come to a box of pictures, I'm distracted for an hour. That's okay, a little bit at a time. This is going to be the slow road. But you know what? It's fun to go through pictures and find memories. You know, that's why we keep these things. And you can sort through and declutter the ones that you don't look good in, or the multiples, or the ones that are just, you know, scenery that you thought were good at the time, you know? Oh, there we go. My father was an old-time famous actor. How cool. I can see pictures on the internet, but I do keep all his pictures in bins. Anastasia, you might want to share those with people who are into him. You know, like that's kind of a neat thing to have in your family tree. We have a couple of pictures from, and they're not of my great aunt Aga, but she's up on there. She was my godmother. Here's a story I'll share with you, and then I'll sign off. So I have a couple of pictures of the actress Ruby Keeler. She was in like 42nd Street. She was a dancer and a hoofer, right? Married to old Al Jolson. My great aunt Aga became friends with her during World War II when her husband and their both husbands were in the Navy. And so I have a couple of like really nice kind of 8x10 glossies from Hollywood that they sent her as like, you know, a Christmas gift at one point. And it was a really cool thing for my aunt Aga, who lived in a small apartment all her life for 50 plus years, to say that she was friends with Ruby Keeler. I have that now, and it's a cool family story that I want to pass down to my family. But it would be neat too, because I also think that it would be neat to share that with Ruby Keeler's family too. Anyhow, you know, Yeah. Hey, you know what? Abide always. I am glad you found this helpful. I do have to sign off, and I think it's key that one of my neighbors started to mow his lawn, so he's like, yeah, shut the windows and get going. Oh my God, it's getting so loud out there. What I would love to leave you with is, if you've tuned into one of my things here, I don't know if it's getting loud. If you've tuned into one of my TikTok lives before, or you've just seen me for the first time, my name is Beth, but I do decluttering life coaching, Destination Decluttered. I have TikTok lives I do often. I upload them to the Destination Decluttered YouTube page if you ever want to rewatch them. I also have a mailing list you can get onto, destinationdecluttered.com/join. I do a lot of free cool stuff just for my mailing list people. I do free workshops. I do a free monthly Zoom call with a group of people. You're welcome to that if you sign up on the mailing list. Did I say destinationdecluttered.com/join? I think I did. The other thing too is I do one-on-one coaching with people, and the way you can get first dibs on the consultations for my coaching is to go to my website and you hit a button, but also I will give the previews of the coaching calendar to the people on the mailing list too. Okay, so there we go. I have a storage unit. I need to get rid of the stuff in there. What questions do I ask? You ask yourself. Everybody, I'll leave you with this, okay? That's who I used to, that's the stuff from my past. Who am I now? And even if you don't have an answer to that, do I want this thing in my life now and in my future? Yes, no. If yes, okay. Where can I put this where I can easily find it and access it? Or if I don't want it, how can I easily get out of my house? Lather, rinse, repeat. Do I want this in my life or not? If I do, where does it go? If I don't, where does it go? Okay? I really hope that helped. I will be doing a TikTok live tomorrow. It's going to be not so sentimental clutter focused, but it will be all the clutters, right? I forget what time it is, but I have a video posted to the top of my TikTok page that shows when the schedule is. If you go to my TikTok page and you haven't liked it, if you could like it, that would be great. I am really here for you because we are all in this together. We are all of a generation, no matter how old you are, from 70 to 21, even then. We all have stuff in our lives that we're dealing with it now, and maybe it's gotten to a crisis situation, but let's do it so we learn new skills, so we can make better decisions so that the future for us, even starting today, feels, looks, and functions better in our homes and our lives. Okay? I'm going to go. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right? Bye. Bye. Bye.